I'm hoping I could go pretty well today. Pretty happy with the condition of Archie, my senior bull. Hoping he can go out in the ring and take first. Hoping he may come off with champion later on today.
Which would be quite an achievement for a breeder who is just 15 years old. But St Andrews College student Marshall Stokes is one determined young man. Rather like New Zealand Agricultural Show organisers, who are just as determined that this year's show judging must go on, in spite of the 3-day public event being cancelled. So we're at the Ag Park today to see the Cattle and Equestrian competitions. Marshall Stokes stands out from the other breeders showing their cattle today, not only because he breeds and shows belted Galloways or Belties, a traditional Scottish breed of beef cattle, not frequently seen on New Zealand farms, but also because he's the only breeder wearing a kilt.
The breed I show is Scottish, so sort of go with the Scottish theme and go kilt. It's actually the St Andrews College pipe bang uniform I'm wearing today. I left my kilt at home.
And so do you play in the pipe band?
No, I do not play in the pipe band, but they lend it out for me to show in. So I'm in quite a few sections today, sort of mixing it up. I've got a senior bull, 2 cow and calves, 2 yearling heifers and 2 yearling bulls.
And we really like this belted Galloway cow, who number 40, the 2-year-old heifer, doing a really good job on a calf, lovely udder. Lovely teat placement and just a really, really good example of the belted Galloway breed.
I've been involved in showing for sort of 10 to 15 years now. I started showing in my own right 10 years ago with my Angus stud and have since introduced shorthorns into my stud as well. So this is Delta. She's a 7-year-old cow. She won the All Breeds cow with calf at foot class today, and she's backed that up. She won it last year as well. So 2 years running to take out the All Breeds senior cow class is pretty cool. Showing's not just about coming out and winning a ribbon. It does help you make a name for yourself within the industry to on-sell progeny from the cows that are genetically superior and genetically really good. So the judge will tell you if you've got faults within your animals or whether they're giving what the breeder's looking for, and then other breeders know that, okay, that's an animal that's got the traits that I'm looking for. I'm going to, like to be able to buy some heifers or some semen from a bull within that stud. So it does give you more than just a ribbon at the end of the day.
I usually have a big banner up with my phone number on it in the stalls so people can buy and all that from me. So I quite often get 2 or 3 bull sales while I'm here.
Yeah, Brent Fisher. So I'm a Charolais and Hereford breeder.
Brent agreed to judge cattle once, many years ago, and they kept asking him back. Nowadays, Brent casts his expert eye over cattle at shows throughout New Zealand and Australia.
Irrespective of the breeds, and they actually have to be functional animals, so we're looking at structural soundness, just their ability to walk and their feet is a big thing. In our part of the world, we haven't had a lot of rain for a long time, and animals, if you've got animals with a bit of resilience, the ability to hang in there when things are tough, it's equally as important as the ones that go forward when things are really good. And the New Zealand genetics, I think, are going to become more and more sought after in different parts of the world, mainly because they're raised on grass. It's a very natural environment in which the animals are raised, and I think that holds the animals in good stead.
Over in the equestrian section, riders and horses have spent many hours turning out their horses to please the judges. Clydesdales have been Pauline Jackson's hobby for 30 years now, and she flew in 2 horses from Melbourne to compete today.
There is quite a lot of competition, so I'm hoping that the horses just behave like they should. I'm very happy I'm here, and it's a big thing for me, so just if they behave today, I'll be over the moon.
No, it's all good fun when you get out there. It's good, I enjoy it.
For me, I don't really notice the
crowd so much. Quite focused on the horses and what they're doing, so it might make a difference to the horses because the atmosphere obviously isn't, there's not as many people talking, there's not as much going on.
In the show jumping area, riders are preparing their horses with care to help avoid any slips or falls.
So we're just putting studs in, just gives the horses more grip on the field, on the ring too. Stops them from slipping over. It's sort of like studs for your footy boots as well. When they get their shoes put on, they get threaded onto their shoes and yeah.
So the horses love competing?
Yeah, this one does. Yeah.
He wants to be John O'Logan.
Yeah. No, they the ones that do and the ones that don't. The ones that don't, you just soften off and he just, when he gets out there, he just loves it. Yeah.
And as the first event, the junior rider edges closer. Even sisters are feeling the pressure of competition.
But this one's heavy. He puts all his weight on you, and it's like your back's just like, oh. So
I've heard that you two live together as well as compete against each other?
yes, yeah, can get quite painful at times.
Does it ever get quite heated?
Oh yeah, especially around the horses.
We get quite competitive between each other, so it's quite interesting.
We're in the young rider class, so it's a series that's held over sort of like the whole season, North and South Island. It's a national series, and sort of everyone chases it for points.
So you're against each other today, aren't you?
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. And we've actually, all three of these horses are brothers, so it's quite ironic. Those two are actually full brothers. This guy,
Who's going to win? It's her, it's never me. I'm just the sister.
you just got to keep the rails up, and often it comes down to the rails. Like, I don't know, like in the last few young rider classes, it's been only maybe like 3 or 4 clears, so it's tough competition. So we actually see how Lex builds the course today.
And the man designing those rails to challenge the skills of the horse and rider is Lex Petty, course designer and Canterbury A&P Equestrian chairman.
I enjoy the course designing and never give up the opportunity to do it ever. So yeah, that's why I'm here and that's what I do. I'm a level 3 international course designer with the FEI, which is controlled from Switzerland. So when I design a course, I have a look at how strong the field is, whether it's a national series class. So if it's a national series class, it's jumped in a lot of shows throughout New Zealand, and these have a specific height and width and amount of difficulty. And so you have to follow that, whether the field's strong or not. And they get accumulated points over the season to a final, and we have a national title at the end of it. So we have one of those events, or 2 of those events today, one the young rider and the other the Pro-Am.
The riders are given a plan of the course and the order of the jumps to memorise 30 minutes before their event. If they get that order wrong when they compete, it's immediate elimination. Rosa is walking the course in preparation.
Well, we're only up to fence 3, but so far it looks pretty nice. But they only tend to get bigger from here, so yeah, this is quite wide. I'm going to need some speed to get over that one, but yeah, it's walking nice so far, but we're only up to 3.
So looking at the distances, so we walk, say for instance, from this triple bar here down to the Oxa, we're walking the distance to see how we're going to ride it, and each horse will have a different type of stride, and so just looking at how that affects the way that we're going to ride the course, looking to see what turns are going to be a little bit tight. From 6 to 7, that's a little bit of a tight turn, you're rolling back on yourself, and again back around to number 8, and then down to the triple is a bit of a testing line, so just seeing how that is going to ride. Got the young riders going before my class, so it'll be interesting to watch them and see how they tackle the course.
The scoring system is we get 4 faults if you knock down a pole. We get 4 faults if you have a stop. If you have a stop in a combination, it gets a wee bit more complex, but because there's time faults added. And apart from that, the winner is the person that can jump clear and in the fastest time.
Getting horse and rider thinking as one is critical to show jumping. And Johnny is focusing Olivia's mount with an exercise called lunging.
Yeah, you want them ready to go, but you don't want them to be silly on it. So when you get on them, they sort of play around a bit or spook at things, or so what I'm doing, I'm just trying to get his brain engaged with me, so that once Olivia gets on him, he focuses on the job at hand.
And it's crunch time for horses and riders as the competition gets underway.
And she comes round to a vertical to an oxer, which is quite difficult, and then a related line, 8 strides to the vertical. Then she has to do what we term as a rollback. She jumps fence 8, which is a vertical. Took off in a lovely position. Then she comes around onto a triple bar here, which is a very difficult fence. Very good position, very, very good position. And 6 strides down to the oxer, it was easy because she positioned herself on this first fence. She's coming around to the last fence now, which is an oxer, going away, and a lovely fence. And I'd say the girl has done an extremely nice round.
Lex's course proved to be a challenge for Rosa, riding Ballock.
Yeah, I just came in a bit long, so I took off further than I should have, which meant he couldn't get the length of it. So it was my mistake, but he jumped real good out there. The course rode really nice, everything came up quite quick, but it was a good course. He's only a 7-year-old, so these are pretty big jumps for him. So he's just stepped up and he's handling the height pretty well.
And it wasn't going to be a clear round for sister Molly either.
Yeah, a bit gutted. I think it was definitely my muck-up. Keep forgetting he's only young, so probably a little bit much to ask going long into that jump. He jumped really well, so I'm pretty happy.
First place went to Steffi Whittaker, whose horse jumped a clear round. A commendable second for Molly.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
And Rosa, third.
Currently with the NZ, I'm a national judge, national steward, and I do the clean sport testing, which is drug testing on some shows as well. So quite involved, heavily involved, but we've all I believe we'll all sort of do our bit for a volunteer sport like this.
And so the girls came 2nd and 3rd, pretty proud?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, it's always a test when you come out and you get the ground. So you got the combination of the ground, the jumps, and the rider as well, getting it right. So there's a couple of points there they'll go home and work on.
Over in the cattle area, Marshall is celebrating. His yearling bull and his senior bull, Archie, have both won their classes.
Pretty pleased with how it went. First time ever taking first place in the all-bred senior bull. It's a very tough class to win. There's always some good competition in there. Yeah.
And what did Brent pick out about Archie?
He was just a good, well-striding bull. He just likes to move. He's free. He's got a good barrel on him, so... And if he wins the senior final, then he's into the grand final.
Do you rate your chances for the senior final?
Yep. I'm probably up against the cow and calf, so it's going to be interesting because usually cow and calf will take it over a bull because they're not only looking after themselves, they're also looking after a young one as well. So if they can hold themselves their own and hold a young one, that's quite a very good achievement.
And in the senior final, as predicted, Marshall's Archie is up against a cow and calf.
We've got a 7-year-old cow here, just a big, powerful cow, and just a great example, I think, of the Angus breed. You've just got all character in that head. She's just got lovely head, lovely spring rib. You get behind her, she's just got tremendous width and capacity. The angles from a hip to pin and just the overall capacity, just a really, really good cow. Standing up really good on her feet and legs for her age, and just doing a great job on that young calf as well, doing a very, very good job. And then we got this belted Galloway bull, and you know, I've been very impressed with the belted Galloways that we've seen here today. Overall, I'd say structurally exceptionally good. And you know, if you start with an animal and you start with a really good structure, you've got animals that you can do something with. So you know, if you start with structure and constitution, in my mind, you've got the basis of a very good animal, and then you can add on from there. But These belter Galloways that we've seen here today have been a real credit to the breed, I believe. But unfortunately, we can only have one winner, and today we've plumped for this young 2-year-old here, just doing such an exceptional job on an exceptional calf. So well done there.
I feel like everything's gone pretty well today. Happy with how it plays. Credit to both Floridale Angus and Carrigaines cattle. They both had very good Angus cow and calves out there today.
Marshall's dad Andy is there to congratulate him.
Yes, I'm very proud of the way he's gone today. He's put his animals out impressively, and yeah, that's a credit to him. So I'm an Angus breeder, got an Angus stud, Ranch Angus. Yeah, so we've been about 18 years in the Angus breed, showing here at Canterbury. This is one of the first years I haven't shown. And just really letting Marshall starting to step up, and he's got his own stud, and just really supporting him and getting him going.
So I pulled up with the Reserve Champion Senior Cattle Beast for the show, so didn't quite make it all the way through to the Grand Champion, but still really happy with Reserve Champion Senior Beef Animal for the show. Pretty cool.
Another year of New Zealand agricultural show judging has inspired and rewarded some extraordinarily dedicated people. And when the New Zealand Agricultural Show is back next year, promising to be bigger and better than ever, it might just encourage more young Kiwis to consider a future on the land and help their grown-ups understand the country just a little better.
I'm a farmer first, and we have a lot of environmental problems where people don't understand the rural sector and their knowledge of the environment, etc., that their own whole livelihood revolves about having good ecosystems. But in saying that, we look after our animals extremely well, and that goes for the equestrian and the whole agricultural part of New Zealand. And that's why we tried to bring the Canterbury show to the town. Yeah.
Good.